The old lady gently touched the boy's head. A mysterious glow flashed in the boy's eyes. They got back in the car. His younger brother urged him to close the window, but when he exerted force, the window crank unexpectedly broke. The boy suddenly had a feeling it was going to rain. His mother and brother thought he was talking nonsense, because the sky was completely blue and cloudless. But in the next moment, rain poured down heavily. The boy had a feeling. He had arrived at a peculiar small town. Today's story originates from the Danish mythological drama on Netflix, the first season of Ragnarok. The boy's name is Magna. He is innately kind, happy to help others, but because of dyslexia, he is considered a freak by others. This is his first time coming to this town with his mother. Ever since he helped the old lady, strange things have been happening non-stop. His nearsightedness from when he was 2 years old miraculously cured itself. A classmate's bicycle wheel was bent. He was able to straighten it effortlessly. His mother and the principal had a meeting. He was able to predict the window glass shattering 5 seconds later. He felt he was becoming stranger and stranger. It seemed like no one wanted to be his friend anymore, but his desk-mate Isolde didn't think so. She was willing to talk to him, because in the eyes of others, she was also a freak. She was a staunch environmentalist, and loved nature. That day they agreed to go up the mountain to see the glacier, and to play paragliding together. But just as they got to the foot of the mountain, Magna received a text message from his brother, saying that their mother had an accident, and then the phone turned off. Magna felt something was wrong, immediately bid farewell to Isolde, and hurried down the mountain. When he got home he found out this was all his brother's prank. When he wanted to go back up the mountain to find Isolde, she had already flown down from the mountain with her paraglider. He was just about to compliment her beauty, but she flew directly towards a bunch of high-voltage wires. When Magna found Isolde, she could no longer be awakened. The rain started to get heavy. Magna, who had lost his only friend, furiously threw the hammer in his hand towards the sky. Lightning instantly split the sky. With Magna's cry of pain, the entire town plunged into darkness. Magna felt terrified. What kind of terrifying power was this? Who was he? On the mountain, a man in a smart suit got out of the car. He took off his suit, walked naked to the edge of the cliff. He looked at the deer below the mountain and chanted a spell. After a while, the man suddenly mutated. The poor deer's heart was taken out, and became his meal. This man was the husband of the principal of the town, Vidar, and also the boss of the largest company in the town, Jotel Industries. No one knew. On the day Isolde had an accident, he was just eating deer heart on the mountain. Isolde's death was considered an accident. The reason being her paraglider was struck by lightning in a thunderstorm. Everyone thought that's all there was to it. Only Magna thought there was something fishy. Isolde was a paragliding expert, very familiar with this area. She wouldn't possibly fly towards high voltage lines, knowing it was thundering. But how could the police listen to a student's words? Problems began to find Magna. Vida got in touch with Magna's mother, claimed someone had shattered his car window. Mother was stunned after seeing the photo. Could this be her hammer? Magna was shocked to hear this. He quickly opened his computer to measure the distance from the foot of the mountain where he returned to Vida's car. It was over 1,000 meters. Could it be the hammer he angrily threw that day? Actually flew over 1,000 meters, equivalent to 1.5 kilometers. Magna could hardly believe it. He brought the hammer to the school playground, attempted again. This time he threw it 541 meters, but the world record is only 86 meters. What's more surprising, Magna seemed to be able to predict the weather. His weather prediction has surpassed the accuracy of weather forecasts. On the night of the school party, Magna received an infuriating message. The police had a new explanation for little Yi's cause of death. First, they said he was struck by lightning, now they say he hit a wall. He began to wonder if there was an inside story, but he didn't have any evidence. He found little Yi's father, but who would believe a child's nonsense? Dad just wanted little Yi to rest in peace. Magna was so angry, he pushed the car at the front door away. Little Yi's father was shocked. He realized this child was not ordinary. He showed Magna some of little Yi's records. Vida and U2 company's name came into view. Record high temperatures in the western region. Mercury was found in the single fin cod in Ida town. U2 company's destructive behavior against the town is growing at a rapid rate. Magna was more and more certain little Yi's death was related to U2 company. The next day Magna took his family to little Yi's funeral. When he came back home, the house was in total chaos, but the thief didn't take anything. Only the brothers' headphones were missing. This must have been done by the town's vagrant, but the vagrant told the two brothers. When he arrived, the house door was open, and he saw Vida's car was parked on the opposite road at that time. Obviously, Magna knew too much. It was confirmed that the brothers' headphones were not lost, returned by a neighbor who found them. But why did Vida come? At this time, little Yi's father came. He gave little Yi's computer to Magna. There was a file on the computer about Vida's U2 company's fjord water sample test. However, He didn't know. His actions had aroused Vita's vigilance. His guess was also correct. Little E did not die accidentally, but was murdered by Vita, who was eating lamb on the mountain. Because the glacier was melting faster than expected, Little E found the entrance to a tunnel. This tunnel obviously hides a terrifying secret. No one could have predicted. A snowplow, speeding at 50 kilometers per hour, had rolled straight over a young boy. Yet what stunned the doctors was that, despite such a severe accident, the boy was left without a scratch, not even a single bruise. It was a miracle in medical history. Who could have imagined that? This unlucky yet lucky child was Magna. Just moments ago, he received a call. The hospital had found the bloodstained clothes worn by Little E on the day of the incident. He had no idea that it was because of this accident he had dodged a bullet, since Vita was standing right behind him at that time. Vita, who was at home, relishing his good luck, had no idea that Magna was still alive. Magna had already started to notice the changes in his body. His senses had become extraordinarily sharp. His vision had fully recovered, and his sense of smell had become more sensitive. He was able to smell the blood on Little E's blood-stained clothes, and there were two different scents. This puzzled Vita. This kid must not be human. After discussing with the school principal's wife, they decided to invite Magna over to their house as a guest, hoping to find out the truth. During this time, Vita kept pouring drinks for Magna, but Magna just kept drinking, seemingly unaffected. In order to test if he was really non-human, Vita took out his own stash of honey wine, and poured Magna a full cup. This time, Magna finally showed some reaction. He began to unleash his nature, completely transforming into another person. He wielded a large axe, chopping the target on the wall into pieces. Seeing the provocation in the principal's eyes, Magna, under the influence of alcohol, started to show off his power. He decided to arm wrestle with the principal, to show her his extraordinary strength. However, as soon as he started to wrestle with the principal, he realized that something was off. How could he not overpower her? No ordinary human could possibly be his match. Both of them realized at the same time that the other was definitely not a normal human. At this moment, Magna suddenly noticed the principal's hand had completely transformed, and when he looked at her face, he almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Distracted for a moment, Magna gave the principal an opportunity. The leg of the table was smashed abruptly, and glass shards scattered everywhere. Scared, Magna immediately hid in the bathroom. He might need to sober up. However, as soon as he raised his head, he was scared out of his wits by his own reflection in the mirror. Who on earth was the person in the mirror?